Hello. Welcome back. All right, it's been a few days, and like I promised, I'm back with the second part of what we were talking about. We're talking about reaching pension and not getting full pension while you are in Spain as an immigrant, especially many of us that came in at an advanced age. Yes, I promised to give us the second part of it on how you can still enjoy some good pension or at least enjoy your life after retirement. So I'm going to give us just very quick 5 points, okay, that I've thought about and I've seen people do and I know will work. And honestly, I personally am working towards even having the five, okay? So, because I want to live a good life. I told you after I retire, I want to live a good life. And of course, knowing fully well that I'm not going to reach full pension in Spain, then I need to begin to look into the future and work towards it, which is exactly the same thing I expect everyone to do. It doesn't matter your age. I mean, we have 5 steps, 5 points that we can actually take into consideration. And of course, if you put a five, you would even enjoy more than 100% pension that you would have gotten. And I promise you, that's the truth. All right, so let's quickly hit these 5 points and see what are the things you can do to enjoy after retirement. Number one is to become self employed in Spain. Be self-employed. Maybe you have a business or you start a company, and then you increase your monthly retention. Okay, so I made a calculation. You remember I told you we used an example of someone that started work at the age of 35 and was earning 1,800 euros every month. And what the person was going to get, at the end of his working years. And the person lives in Palma de Mallorca, for example, and works 6 months in a year. And we found out that that person is going to be getting like 800 plus as pension when that person retires. Now, I now made a new calculation. What if this person becomes self-employed or has a business and puts himself on a salary of, let's say, 5,000 euros a month, which is very possible to make if you are in business? Um, it means that, listen, when you put yourself on 5,000 euro salary, nobody cares whether you actually have that liquid 5,000 in your account. What concerns the government is that your retention, that's the tax you'll be paying every month, will be based on that salary. And that's what you really need, okay, if you want to get to that full pension. Now, I calculated that if you start doing that from the age of 45, you've worked about 9 years, right? Earning 1,800 a month, and then all of a sudden you start a business and you put yourself on a salary of 5,000 euros a month for the rest of your working years. Honestly, you would be able to reach 92% of your full benefits. Okay, that's pension benefits by the time you will retire. So at the end of your retirement, such a person will be getting about 2,300 euros a month as pension. So that's one thing you need to think about. I know that a lot of us have businesses, a lot of us have acumen for business, and we could actually easily become self-employed in Spain, which we call autonomous. And then you can base your salary on that level. It might not be as high as that. I mean, maybe you don't aim that high. You can put it on 2,000, 2,005, but increase it so that your retention will be high. And of course, you will get a higher pension by the time you retire. So that's the first secret. One thing you can do. Second is the old simple savings account. Okay. Now, if you are well disciplined, you can actually go to a bank and open a savings account that you would only put money in and you will never touch. Now, you can actually do that. It's more or less like a pension plan. Okay. But you do it yourself. You open these accounts and every month, maybe you put in 100 euros every month unfailingly. As a matter of fact, it's better to use direct debit. They debit it directly from your account and keep in that account for you. They debit it from your, maybe your salary account, and you put it in that savings account for the next, for example, if you are 40, 45, 50 years old, for the next 20 years, or let's say for the next 15 years of your life, you keep saving 100 euros every month. Do you know that you would have saved more than 20,000 euros? Okay, and that is an amount you can begin to pay yourself every month after retirement, maybe to 200 every month after you have retired, and that will augment whatever you get from your pension. I mean, it's basic, it's normal, but it's very difficult. I can tell you that, but it's possible. So you can have a savings account. That's the second way by which you can, make better your retirement days. And the third one, of course, is to have a private pension plan. Now, what's the difference? This time, you will still be saving an amount of money. It could be 50 euros, it could be 100 euros, depending on when you are starting. But there are companies that do that. You can speak to your banks, or you look for private pension plan companies online, and they will be able to open that account for you. I know a couple of people that do that. I don't have that personally yet, but it's something I want to do also, because once you stick to that, they will be the ones to pay you your pension after you retire. And some of them actually have some interest on it, which is good. So if you want to do that, browse online, speak to your banks, and always look for the ones that would have interest on your savings. Okay. So it's also the third way by which you can, live a better retirement life. I mean, a better life after retirement. Okay. Also to augment your pension when you have retired. And then let's move to more interesting ones that will actually earn you a lot of money. That's number 4, and that is secured investments. A lot of us don't have investments, and many people don't have investments because they go like, well, I don't know much about investments, I don't have money for investment. That's not true. Everyone has money for investment. There are so many of us that travel. Let me give an example of maybe Nigerians or Ghanaians. We have a lot of gold in our countries. Every time you travel home, just take 500 euros, 1000 euros, buy a solid gold chain or a solid gold ring, and bring it back and keep in your safe. I mean, of course, you can also, use it, go to parties with it if you are that jewelry type, but you are buying these things specifically because that's your pension plan. Would you say that's not brilliant? I need to tell you, if you follow the trend of things, how much do they sell gold now? Gold has skyrocketed in the last few years. Okay, so I know about gold. I do buy gold. I mean, I don't use it, but I keep it for investment. And I know how much gold has multiplied in the last, let's say, 3 years. And this the good thing about these metals, I'm not just talking about gold, I'm talking about precious metals. It could be gold, it could be diamond, even silver. Now, the good thing about these metals is that they never come down. Of course, they fluctuate, but if gold has gone that high now, there's nothing that will happen that will make it go so low again. So it's not going to be like currency that goes and fluctuates so high and low, or oil. No, they will always go up. For example, now gold is going for about 3,300 ounce. I mean, dollars per ounce. When I used to trade gold back 3, 4 years ago, it was like 900. So you can imagine that shift. And if you check it, the trend is always going to go up. So invest in metals, in precious metals, and every time you have an opportunity, buy and keep, buy and keep. Just 1 gram of gold, 2 grams of gold, turn it into whatever and keep. Because when you grow old, these are things that you'll be able to sell and be able to enjoy your life. I know a lot of people that inherited gold chains, gold bangles from their mothers or from their grandparents, and today that has made them a lot of wealth. Sometimes you don't need to sell these precious metals. You could actually put it in the bank, and the bank can, exchange it for a loan for you. So please make sure that you invest in precious metals. That's another way by investing into your future. Okay, so the second secured investment that I want to share with you, which you can consider, is to invest in indices. Indices are not stocks. Okay, indices is like a group of different stocks. Okay, now indices are actually designed to always go up. So how you can know that is just go on the charts. Okay, go on the charts online and choose whatever indices, SP 500 or whatever indices you have in your country, and check the trend in the last 10 years. So you will notice that it has always been going up, and that is how it has been designed. So if it has been designed like that, then it is wise for anyone to invest in indices, not for the short term, but for the long term. It means that in the next 20 years or in the next 30 years, when I would have retired, if I invest like maybe, let's say 10,000 euros in indices, it means by then it could have tripled or even more than that. So indices is another sure and secured investment that you can actually put your money into. The third secured investment that I want to talk about are lands. Ooh, I'm not talking of landed properties. I'm just talking about land and land as it is. Let me give you an example. If you go to any developing area, anywhere in the world, it's not just in Nigeria. You can buy land in Europe also. A lot of people don't know that. You can buy land in Spain and resell after some years. Now, when you buy land in developing areas, honestly speaking, within a period of 10, 20 to 30 years, land can actually go in multiples of 10. I'll give you an example. I got a plot of land close to where my parents live in Ibadan, in Nigeria. And then a plot of land was being sold for 500,000 naira. I bought that land some years ago, maybe like, let's say 15 years ago. And recently I called my mom. I said, I'm still interested. Can I get like one plot of land in that place? And she said, "Ooh, there are no more lands, but you can get from people that want to resell theirs." And I said, "Please help me find out how much can I get a plot of land?" And she said the least price that she's getting is 10 million naira. I was like, wow, 10 million naira. That's times 20. 20 times, 20 folds. Wow. Imagine if I bought like 1 hectare or 20 plots then at 500,000. I'm talking about just 15, 17 years ago. I'm not talking about 20 years. So you can imagine if you can actually buy some plot of land, secure the ownership and all the necessary documents, very important, and you can keep that until you retire. By the time you retire, you will be in money. Land never depreciates. If you build a house on it, the house will depreciate. The house will become worthless at a point, but the land will never depreciate. So that's why I said land. I'm not saying landed property. So building a house might not really be too much of investment because you'll be spending on it, renovating it. That one, we will talk about that another time. But buying land and keeping for the future is another secure investment option for after retirement. And lastly, it will be high yielding commercial real estate. Now, this is different from building a house and renting it out. Okay. That doesn't have a lot of return on investment. And as a matter of fact, it's even more disheartening doing that in Nigeria today than just buying land or going into commercial real estate. So high yielding commercial real estate could be things like having a hotel, having an event center, having apartments for shortlets and all these shortlets and vacation homes. That is what I'm talking about. Those ones are high yielding commercial real estate. Some types of farming also can be commercial real estate. Okay. So, but if you want to go into this, you must be an expert. It must be something you have studied, something you have read about, something you know about, so that you don't fall into wrong hands and you don't put your money where you actually incur losses than making profit. But it is something you want to look into the future. My landlady, for example, where I live in Spain, she has more than 6 properties. Okay, she's a medical doctor, but she told me once, she said, "I'm not even eating my salary anymore." He said, "My houses actually pay more than enough for my vacations and for all that I want to live by." Recently, she told me that she's selling them off now because the children are not interested in those properties and she's getting old. Imagine that. Imagine how much she would sell just one property. In fact, selling one property, she won't even be able to finish the money before she passes on, maybe. Okay, so imagine if you have 5, 6, 7 properties all around the world. It is not being greedy. It is a plan for your future. So, high yielding commercial real estate is actually something you want to consider if you know that you're not going to reach your pension age while you are in Europe. But please, like I said, if you go and build 6 flats in your village or in Lagos or in Ibadan and you are renting it out, collecting rent every year, that is not what I'm talking about. You would use that money to repair and to refurbish that house for the rest of your life. Okay, so think well and know well about real estate before you go into that. But that is a very beautiful option that will bail you out because just with 2 properties, it takes care of what? Of your pension, even full pension that people will collect. Just 2 rental properties takes care of that for you at old age if you invest wisely. And lastly, which is number 5, what should you do to have a very good life after retirement? I want to tell you is to own businesses. Hey, there is a difference between being self-employed and owning businesses. What is the difference? The difference is simple. I always say it. If you are not there and the business is not working, you don't own a business. You are only self-employed. But when you are not there and the business is still running and you're still making money, that is when you own a business. So a lot of people confuse being self-employed with owning businesses. No, sorry, you can be self-employed and not actually own a business. You own a business when it begins to work, even while you are not there. That is owning a business. So if you want to do that, like I said in the last video, it's not something you jump and start in a day. It's a whole journey that you need to start now. Build it, because every business we start first as self-employed. And then when you build it, you build your legacy, you build your structure, and then you build a system around your business. That is when you own a business. And then you can withdraw, and then you see that it's functioning. Then you can say, yes, I own a business. And that is very, very good plan, even for life after retirement. I hope I've made some good points to you and that you can consider. You can actually get involved in all the five, or just take one and focus your energy on it and do it. But I can guarantee you that any of these five will actually be a very good plan for you to live a beautiful, happy, wealthy, and comfortable life after retirement. I will do some of them, maybe not all, but I would at least maybe 3 or 4 of them. And I'm on the way to doing that. If you need some guidance, you need some counseling, you need some professional advice, I can help you get people, I can connect you to people that can do that for you in any of these areas. And if you're interested in the area of real estate, that is what we do, and our company can help you out. So check the description, you'll have our contacts there. I'll see you in the next video, and maybe a very lighter one, not too much of business, but another very interesting video. I'll see you. But remember, Akinshola said it. See. Share this video, like it, make your comments, and I will be happy you do that. Subscribe to my channel. I'm watching you.